I'm Doc Renfro. With me this episode is Noelle Troutman, an esteemed Ph.D. student, fully funded, by the way, at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, getting her Ph.D. from the same place. Such notable faculty as Professor Larimer, Professor Jamie Renfro, and yours truly, the Doc, got their PhDs. Noelle graduated with a degree in political science from UNI back in 2018, which seems like a million years ago. But she, within this time frame, has already picked up her master's in political science degree from UNI and is on her way working on the PhD. So we're going to talk to Noelle today and get her words of wisdom for any prospective students or even current students and learn about the undergraduate opportunities in political science here at UNI. First of all, Noelle, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You surviving this COVID thing okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, so I'm good with that.
How's Lincoln doing?
I think it's similar to Iowa in that the numbers are picking up, so I don't go anywhere. So I appreciate the opportunity to connect with humans.
Yeah, right.
This is good.
Good. So let's go back and say, hey, where are you from, and how did you end up at UNI first?
Okay. So I'm from Carroll, Iowa. It's way out in western Iowa, pretty rural. And I came to UNI because I went to Kirkwood, actually. I got a full ride scholarship there, so I finished up my associate's degree that year and then transferred to UNI because I really liked the campus. And my parents had both gone to UNI, and so I knew it was an awesome school. I had a lot of family who go there.
Yeah, that's great. We love those generational connections.
Yeah.
Did you start out as a political science major, or what got you interested in that?
Yeah, so I started out thinking I would be a secondary education major. I think that's what it was. My dad was a history teacher. He was my history teacher, and I really liked studying conflict and war, and so I thought that was the only way that you could do it. And then I realized this is really sad, but I started watching Madam Secretary the year before I went to UNI, and I was like, wait a minute, I want to be that. I would love, so I realized political science allowed me to do that. So that's why.
Oh, that's awesome. Were there any key courses that caught you at the right time and place that made you sort of hooked?
Yeah. I would say your international security class. And I promise I'm not just saying that. I didn't realize that.
Listeners, we have not planned any of these questions. I don't have a script for Noelle, but I won't lie. It does make me feel good to hear that. So good. International security was a hook for you on that. Do you remember any books? Do you have a favorite book that sticks out to you?
Yeah. The Revenge of Geography, just the Kaplan book, because it just broke my brain because it was such a provocative theory. I thought, even, if I didn't agree with everything that he advanced, I just thought it was a really well done argument overall. Yeah. So,
well, that's what I like for my upper division courses, to give interesting books that are, like you say, provocative and will initiate discussion. You know what I'm saying? So here you are as a political science major, and you get interested, I think, particularly in international security issues. And then you start thinking of grad school. Mm-hmm. What made you start thinking about, hey, maybe I'll want to further my study in political science at more advanced level?
Yeah, so I don't want to sound mean when I say this, but there are a lot of policymakers, and I was angry with them because I thought, you are not doing the right thing here. There's science that can help you. And so I wanted to be an expert that could provide that information to policymakers, whether that be through, just being a professor and teaching, or actually going and working in government. And I had really good interactions with all of the faculty members at UNI. I really treasure those relationships that I built, and that was really influential.
Yeah, that is nice. This is a common theme where our alum over and over again will state the relationship they had with their professors. And one of the nice things about UNI, is it's not too big, not too little. You don't get lost. You get to know your professors, particularly in a department like political science, where you're never going to have a huge class,
Mhm.
and it's always going to be taught by a professor rather than a grad student. And no offense to you, as a grad student
Oh,
that's
it's okay.
teaching, but there can be a difference when, especially when it comes time to write those letters of recommendation. For example, you have a professor doing it who knows you by name, not just by number, and so it's a unique. It offers unique advantages, with, to that respect. Um, so then you take the GREs. Are you looking at any specific grad schools specifically? I mean, we know you ended up at Nebraska. Were there particular reasons for that choice? Besides following in the giant footsteps of Professor Chris Larimer, were there any key sort of, was there a key impetus for this
Yeah.
choice?
So I know I applied to other programs, and this sounds terrible, but I've forgotten them because I when I found UNL, I was like this, the faculty they have there. So I work really closely with Dr. Rupal Mehta, and she is. I saw her like online, and I was like, I want to be her, and she's my advisor now, and so I feel very blessed to have been able to work with her. UNL has like really good resources. We have a huge lab in the football stadium that we call the Center for, I think it's like CB3, so Center for Brain other stuff. I don't know, but I get to go in there and we can work with like MRIs and skin conductance tests, saliva, blood to test for some of those biological connections, which was mostly like monopolized by the Americanists. And so I've been like
My
really,
wife
yeah,
was
she's
hogging
perfect.
that machine back when she was a grad student.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's amazing all the experiments. You're right about the Americanists. All the stuff that they can do, and they forget about us
yeah,
internationalists all too
yeah.
often. But hey, we can make some noise.
Yeah, that's what we're trying right now. I
Yeah.
have a piece, hopefully, it's under peer review, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh,
And then,
where is it? Co-author piece or?
yeah, so I'm working with my advisor.
Yeah.
It was a piece I actually started last spring with John Hibbing, and so I was super fortunate to get to work with him. And it's about nukes, so taking biology and applying it there, which is I'm
Ooh,
hopeful.
that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, wow, that is great. Is your dissertation connected to your MA thesis, or did you sort of start a different research
Yeah,
agenda?
it's building on the MA thesis, so
What
making
was
it
your thesis?
nicer. I'm interested. So a big part of my research is alliance politics, and a lot of times in that literature, we tend to focus on like external threats as being the drivers of alliance behavior. But I actually am interested more so in the internal relationships between allies and how that influences behavior. So my dissertation is on alliance cohesion.
Well, that'll be interesting. I think that often domestic politics is overlooked
Yeah,
by internationalists and vice versa. You know what I mean? We always think the key variable is on whatever we want it to be, but sometimes it's a mix and match. It's not a very popular thing to say,
no,
and you can see by publications. I mean, they just don't cite each other. But
yeah,
in my view, domestic politics drives international relations, and international relations can drive domestic politics.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, so, interesting point on the alliance building. You got to check out Bear Bromolers.
Yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, I just assigned that to my current
Really,
international security course. Yeah, it's something it's challenging. It's sort of a grad student
it is.
of level book, but I thought it might be fun to throw something different at them. That quantitative
Yes.
approach. Well, tell us what. Do you ever get back to Iowa?
Yeah, every now and again. I mean, I don't ever really get out to Eastern Iowa anymore, which is kind of a bummer. But I got to see my family a couple weeks ago, which was good.
Good. Did you participate in any sort of UNI clubs, activities, extracurriculars that you might suggest to students taking advantage of, or flip side of that, suggest advise them to stay away from?
Let's see. I know I did Model UN with
Yeah,
Dr. Harvey. That was
that's awesome.
super fun. All my friends did it. Like I remember my roommates who are not political science majors could not understand why anyone would want to go to like a place like Chicago and just spend all day talking about politics.
That
Um,
sounds like the perfect day.
it is, yeah. It was the best, and I felt very fortunate to be part of that group because I learned a lot about writing and speaking as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Model UN. We have such a doggone good program here
Yeah.
at UN. It's one of the best Model UNs in the nation.
Yeah.
And the opportunities it gives for travel, domestic and even internationally. Professor Werby had some students go over to Tel Aviv a couple years back for the international UN meeting, which, Model UN meeting, which was cool. Was there anything you think that the Department of Political Science could have done better to prepare or train you for where you're at now? There's always going to be surprises and so forth. Can't teach everything. But is there anything you felt we could do better, or do you find that you had the support and training necessary to succeed, or what do you think?
So I think, okay, so I honestly, and I'm not saying this again, like this is not scripted. I promise, like I felt very prepared by the opportunity I had at UNI because I think like, especially students interested in graduate study, a lot of those skills they teach you when you get there. And sometimes they prefer, you to have like some of those higher level research skills through them. So they can have a direct source of guiding you in that. But I think UNI was great for just guiding interests. And I think a lot of it too is up to the individual student to have a sense of agency and applying themselves. So I wouldn't say there's areas of improvement that I can think of.
Well, certainly we offer a wide variety of choices. I mean, I've interviewed a law student, a practicing lawyer, and now a Ph.D. student, and they all talk about how if you can't find something that interests you in the Department of Political Science at UNI, you better check for a pulse, right? Because you have all these different opportunities to study with great people that you have a chance to get to know. And then one of my favorite parts is always catching up with alum, because you're going to be one of these days a real life PhD.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Troutman. And what are you going? And you may not know for sure now, but are you thinking you're aiming for academia or for government or what?
Yeah, I think right now I'm planning on preparing for the academic job market. I know I want to go to like a heavy research institute because that's my favorite part of what I do now. But if I'm the market being what it is, I'm keeping my options open, especially like with Department of Defense or Department of State, even like CIA. I think it would be just really cool to work for one of those institutions. So I'm trying to stay open-minded.
That's good, and you have time. And my advice always is to just use a shotgun approach and apply for everything. Unless you had a very, very specific place in mind.
Right.
Like you say, the job market is not getting any better in academia. Let's put it that way. What else do you think, Noelle? I didn't have any questions for you, so you gotta. If you can think of anything else that any words of wisdom. What actually before that, you're teaching.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things about University of Nebraska as a major research university. Not everybody allows grad students to teach, and it gives you a great benefit. Just because of that practice. It's hard to teach teaching.
It is.
For professors in particular, because it's not a rigid formula. It's on the job. And so, what are you teaching, and how's that going?
So right now, I am teaching recitation sections, which are a way to replicate like the smaller class sizes, like more known like UNI from these large lectures of intro courses. And I really enjoy being able to work with those smaller students. I've had the privilege of teaching intro to IR recitation sections as well. And now that I have my master's, I can technically be an instructor of record. So I'm still waiting to see what I'll teach next semester. But you're totally right in that I found it really surprising that a lot of research universities comparable with that of UNL, graduate students don't get a class until like their last year, which is not good, at least from my experience. And so I found I definitely appreciate the opportunity to get up in front of students and teach material that I enjoy. I definitely I enjoy it quite a bit.
That's great. That is great. Yeah, I would say fight hard to get a instructor of record position. I think they started me out teaching the intro to comparative, and then intro to IR, and then I got stuck with an intro to American, which only because nobody wanted to teach.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, this is bad, but I work with good professors, so it's fine.
Yeah, right. So it's different than having. I think it's good training for you to, if you were able to build your own syllabus and to be responsible for everything. Obviously, a smaller class size. I'm not going to throw you into a 200-person Nebraska classroom, but if you had 25 or 30 people, that would be a perfect training opportunity for you. You're staying up on your work. What's your methodological focus? Are you going to be quantitative type data person, or are you going to do languages, or what are you up to?
So I right now I do a lot of work with like quantitative statistics and case studies. I do a lot of like archival research as well for the work I do, and I'm excited to start working with game theory. I do a lot with experimental economics, and so I'm really looking forward to taking several like independent studies in it.
Yeah, well, have you got Ross Miller in his stuff? Okay, that's the only person I know there still that I know that does a lot of the quantitative.
He's on my dissertation committee.
That's good. Yeah, he's a great guy. Who else is on your dissertation committee?
So I have Ripple Mehta and I don't know. Do you know Rob Shupp? He's new, I think.
I don't know.
He does a lot of work with like he's an international security guy too. He does work with like leaders and like covert planning for operations, things like that.
I have to check this guy out.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Sounds like a similar research agenda as mine.
Yeah, you should assign his work. I would highly recommend. It's awesome. Do you know Courtney Hillebrecht?
Yeah. Okay,
yeah, she's on my committee as well. She's a human rights person, but like she's an editor for ISQ, and she's awesome. I'm fortunate to work with her as well.
Well, who's your outside person?
That's the problem. I am still looking.
Get somebody from econ.
Econ, okay. I need to look there.
Or psych.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about. Did you take classes with Cal?
No, I didn't, but a lot of my cohort did.
I feel so blessed to take. He's awesome. He's the best.
Everybody says. My methodology was Arabic, so I didn't have to take. All I had to take was the one quantitative methodology seminar with Ross. But the rest was Arabic, so I was able to avoid the quantitative methodology. Although I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not. Yeah. Great, Noelle, you've been very gracious with your time, and I know how busy PhD students are. I still remember a long, long time ago. So, unless you have any final words of wisdom, we'll let you go here.
Awesome. Well, I think just thank you for having me, and please, like any students interested in UNL or national security, especially young women, I really hope that they feel comfortable participating. I'm happy to. I mean, my information is on like the UNL political science graduate student page. Please feel free to send me an email or anything. I'm happy to help.
Oh, that's great to hear. So you're putting yourself out there for a little mentorship.
I guess if someone would be interested in it.
That's very kind and great. So we will hopefully stay in touch, and we'll see you sometime soon, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully when the pandemic ends. Hopefully.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to press stop recording.
Okay.